Hi guys, welcome back to TOEFL with Juva. When I took the TOEFL, I made some serious mistakes. One could have stopped me from taking the test, and others decreased my score. I will tell you these 5 mistakes so that you can avoid them. Let's get started. We will begin with mistake number 1. I registered my name incorrectly. Actually, this mistake may be the most embarrassing. When I registered for the TOEFL, I didn't enter my name correctly, and this could have ended in a disaster. Now you may ask yourself, Juva, don't you know your own name? Yes, I do, but I just didn't pay attention. When you register for your TOEFL, you must enter your name exactly as it appears on your ID. And unfortunately, I didn't do that. The problem was that I only realized this 2 days before my test. So I became stressed because if the name you entered doesn't match with your ID, you are not allowed to take the TOEFL. Therefore, I had to call ETS. By the way, this was my very first call to the US, so I was very nervous. Honestly, the whole thing was really stressful for me because I wasn't sure whether it would work out, whether somebody would answer my call or whether they would change my name. I was really furious with myself and thought, why didn't I pay attention? When I called, I had to wait on the line for about 15 minutes. And then somebody answered, and I told her what had happened and asked ETS to change my name. She was really nice and told me that they would do it and that I would get an email once my name was changed. It worked out. I got an email a few hours later and everything was fine. So the takeaway from this story is register your name correctly. Spare yourself the stress and time of having to change your name. Mistake number 2 is I had too little time to study. I'm scared to say this because I'm not setting a good example here. I had 1 week to study for the TOEFL. What can I say? Don't do this. It's really bad. But I can explain. Originally, I wanted to take the IELTS and I had already booked my IELTS test. However, my IELTS got cancelled 3 times in a row because of the pandemic. Every time the IELTS got cancelled, I thought, alright, I still have time to take the IELTS. Next time it will certainly take place. But it didn't. They kept cancelling the test because it was in person at the test center. In the end, I was so close to the deadline for my English test that I decided I had to take another test that I could take at home. There was no other option. That's how I found out about the TOEFL Home Edition. So I booked the TOEFL 1 week in advance. Since I didn't have much time left, that week was so stressful for me. I had applied to the University of Oxford and I needed a TOEFL score of 110 points. That's a lot of points and I only had this one shot because there was no time to retake the TOEFL. So I tried to study as efficiently as I could. And when I realized that the tasks in the TOEFL are always the same, I started to create templates for speaking and writing. This saved my life because it helped me memorize the structure and the vocabulary I needed for a high score in a very short amount of time. In the end, I got a score of 115. I would not have managed to do this without templates. If you want to save time and improve your TOEFL score, I can highly recommend using templates. Check out the link in the description below. You can find templates for all TOEFL speaking and writing tasks there. The gist of this story is, give yourself enough time to prepare. The TOEFL is important. Whether you need it to get a place at university or to get a job, it's important for your future. Don't risk losing something that's important to you because you give yourself too little time to prepare. If you have the possibility to study for longer, give yourself that time. It's absolutely worth it. Do you find this video helpful so far? If yes, you can help me too. Click the like button now so that other people know that this video will help them prepare for the TOEFL. Let's move on to mistake number 3. I missed the last question in TOEFL reading. Yes, you heard that correctly. I didn't answer the last question. I took the reading test and at some point I thought I was done. I still had about 2 minutes left and I was like, great, I finished on time. Awesome. Suddenly, I realized that there was a button in the lower right corner saying next. I clicked that button and realized that there was still one question left. I saw the question, but I didn't even have time to read it. The timer showed 0, game over. I got 29 out of 30 in TOEFL reading. Who knows, perhaps I would have been able to answer that question correctly and then I would have gotten 30 out of 30. It's such a pity when this happens because you lose points for nothing. Therefore, guys, always check whether you have answered all questions. Mistake number 4. I skimmed the passage. When I took the TOEFL, I thought it was a good idea to skim the passage first for 1 or 2 minutes to get an overview. I don't say it's bad to do this. Sometimes it may be helpful to get a general idea of what the passage is talking about. But I think most of the time it's not necessary. Instead, go to the questions first and then have a look at the passage and search for the information that you need to answer the questions. If you want to learn strategies for TOEFL reading, check out the videos where I solve TOEFL reading practice tests. I show you my reading strategies there that help you find the correct answer fast without having to go through the whole passage. The links are in the description. Another mistake that I made. I talk too much in TOEFL speaking. I'm pretty sure that this mistake cost me points in speaking. I tried to give too much information and the result was that I ran out of time. To finish on time, I started talking faster and faster until my speaking was a race. I'm pretty certain that they noticed that and that I lost points because of that. I got 27 out of 30 in TOEFL speaking, which I was really happy about, but I think if I'd been more concise and had talked at a normal speed, I would have gotten a higher score. If you struggle with TOEFL speaking, have a look at my sample answers. There you learn how to give a concise answer so that you finish on time. You can find the link to the videos in the description below. That's it! These are the 5 mistakes I made in my TOEFL. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If you have any questions or a video wish, comment below and I would love to see you here next time. Bye bye!